Let me hide this so I don't sit there and stare at myself. I'm sorry, I've got cat hair on my nose because my cat is here again with me. Hamilton is with me again. Yes, aren't you with me again, Hamilton? We took a couple hours off and now we're back. Say hello to everybody, Hamilton. Hello, everybody. It's me, Hamilton. I am the GSO, one of the GSOW cats. Aren't you? And you want to know what's going on with the Rhododendron Botanical Garden, right? I gotta cover this up so I cannot see myself here. Oh, sorry, you guys. I have got the sniffles. Just not fun. Here we go. All right, so what I started doing today is making a live video onto YouTube. Very little preparation. This is just a video watching me edit, you know, those Go Play videos where people watch people play video games. Well, this is a video where you can watch me edit Wikipedia. I'm thinking out loud. I'm trying to make sense of things. I'm trying to come up with the correct spelling of words, and I'm trying to come up with the correct word. So you can watch me do this. And this cat wants to be pet so bad that every time he sees my hand, he's like trying to, like this, trying to get me to pet him. So let's see how we can do this. He sees my hand, he's just all over me. So hopefully he won't sit in front of the screen so that I can actually see. Stop. So I can stop, so I can go to the things I need to do. All right, Hamilton, don't. I have nowhere to put my hand that he isn't going to be able to nudge himself out to. Like, he's like this. Your hand, I must have my hand pet you. He pet me. All right, so I spent about an hour and a half earlier, and I got a long ways in this, and now I am, let's see if I can finish this. Let's just see. One of the things I was trying to do is I was trying to find, look at him, I was trying to find an info box, and the easiest way to do it, now there is a place you can go to on Wikipedia. Oh, he's gone. The easiest place to go do that, well, I guess most editors would probably try to find an info box by going to a big page that has all info boxes listed on it. Well, I don't know if they're all info boxes, but it's tons of info boxes for like basketball players and artists and books and movie theaters and plays and playwrights. I mean, each one has like a different kind of info box, and I could probably go and search through that if I really wanted to, but I don't, because that's not how I edit. I don't do things that way. So the way I teach my team and the way I do it is find where it has been done correctly. Sorry, there's cat hair all over. Find where it has been done correctly. Copy that code, put it on your page, and change all the information on it, and put the correct information that you want in there. That's how I teach my editors. So we're not, at least I'm not the type that is like a by the book kind of person. I don't know if that's wrong, but that's how I teach people, and so that's how I'm going to do it. So here's what I found. And I left it open. American Legion Memorial Park. Here it is. So here's what it looks like. See, I found this info box. See it right here? and it's got a photo, and it's got coordinates for a map. And I'm not exactly sure where I'm going to find my coordinates for my map. I guess I could get it off of Google Map or something. I don't know. Maybe we'll figure it out together. But this is, if you open this up, it's another stub page. It says info box park. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy all this. So it's these crinkly C's to these crinkly backwards C's. So these here to this here is the info box. Now, info boxes are a whole world of, you probably get a PhD on info boxes. So I'm not going to deal with it. So let's go over my sandbox. No info here, remember? And also remember that I put this JPEG right here because I want it to be the main photograph on the info box I'm going to put in. So let's see how this looks. Edit. So I'm going to paste it right here. I'm going to leave some spaces here because remember, when you're working in a sandbox, it's basically like a blank sheet of paper, continuous blank sheet of paper. So you just make it as comfortable as you want it. All right, so let's do this since I want to keep it all on one screen. We're going to change the name of the park to this. So let's take that out. Put in the other one. I wonder if I should put the initials. No, I guess not. I'm going to take this image out. See, I know it's an image because it's got a JPEG right there. And, you know, I don't know what the deal is with my mouse, but it's been weird. Okay, so then I'm going to take this and paste it in. I'm not going to worry about image size, image blah, blah, blah. This is the caption. Image caption. Well, entrance to garden. No, should I say garden to park? Lowercase. Should I put the ear? Okay, well, let's try it. There's map. All right. It's not an urban park. It is a botanical garden. See, it's just weird. This mouse. I tried changing the size of my cursor a few weeks ago, and since then I have not been able to get. And I changed it, but I have not been able to get this. It just isn't right. It is not normal. Okay, so I'm putting it in between these brackets because I'm going to assume that it's going to go to a Wikipedia page, and the brackets on each side of the word go to a Wikipedia page. So I'll find out in a minute when I hit preview. And when you're writing in Wikipedia code, the second word, unless it's a proper noun, is never capitalized. Okay, location. So Washington State's fine. I want to, come on, see how I'm talking about it. I mean, it's just a weird thing. Let's take this out. It's Federal Way. And I don't know what county. So let's go up here. see what county it is. King County, Washington. Let's see what it looks like. King County. Oh, and see how it says Federal Way, Washington? I've got to fix that too. King County, Washington. Let's see how many screens tabs I can have open. Okay, so this is going to be Federal Way. And we put a little bar, and we put, oops, capitalized. We don't want to capitalize that A. Let's put this in here. Okay, so for those of you who don't know a lot about Wikipedia editing, F-E-D-E-R-A-L. Okay, so what's going on is, oops, I shouldn't have done that. What is going on here, I meant to put a space right there so I could show you better. Spaces really don't mean anything. I don't think it'll mean anything. Is that what is on this side, see how these brackets are here and these brackets are here. So that's a hyperlink. So what's on this side of this bar, the bar is the key right under your backspace. This is the Wikipedia page, is called Federal Way, Washington. What I wanted to say when I make this live is Federal Way. And then over here, comma, King County, Washington is the name of the Wikipedia page. See, King County, Washington, that's the name of the Wikipedia page. But I don't want it to say King County, Washington. I want you to say King County and then comma, and then Washington State. I just want to say Washington. Okay, so these coordinates, well, I have no idea. So I'm going to remove them. It's not pertinent. Possibly I'll just have somebody on my team or something that deals with it. Okay, area. It's 22 acres. Oops, not 122. I don't know if that's going to work right. I've never done this before, you guys. Created 1964. Oh, the organization was created in 1964. Well, gee, Willie Rogers. The foundation was created in 1964. Let's look at the website and see if it'll tell us more. Let me bring it over so you can see it too. No, that's not what I wanted. Okay, so let's see. About, let's go to the history. Come on. Origins. Aha. Okay. So may be said to lie with a visit to England. Oh, there's a lot of information here. I hadn't read this. Okay, let's see what it says. Bear with me. First time I'm reading this. Following initial discussions. Well, before I say that, we're not supposed to pull off the website to get the information. It should be on a secondary source. And that's why I went to secondary sources before looking at the website, because you really should pull from secondary sources. But I have been looking at secondary sources. I don't think there's a lot of information about this out there. So I'm going to probably end up having to pull it from here. So I will have to put this in summary into the history part of the Wikipedia page, but summing it up in my own words. Oh, cat here. All right. Following initial discussions among rhododendron enthusiasts in the Pacific Northwest, The real origin of the Rhododendron Species Foundation may be said to lie with a visit to England by Dr. Milton Walker in March of 1964. The purpose of his visit was to explore the possibility of importing cuttings, many from the original wild plants of the best forms of rhododendron species growing in both public and private British gardens. Among the gardens he visited were Windsor Great Park, Wakehurst, Leonardsea, and the major Cornish gardens, including, he wrote to the gardens. Due to American import regulations, the cuttings could not be brought into the United States directly from Europe. They could, however, be imported into Canada due to an extraordinary flexibility on the part of the Canadian Department of Agriculture and Canadian Customs. Ooh. So he contracted with somebody else who had a nursery on Vancouver Island to inquire if it'd be possible for the cuttings to be imported and propagated in British Columbia. As a result, arrangements made with the University of British Columbia led the first shipment of cuttings arriving there from Broderick Castle in 1964. Subsequent shipments arrived in Vancouver that same fall and over the next several years from other British gardens. They were propagated when the process took on much. Okay. She grew the plants for up to 2 years, and with a sharing agreement, she kept one plant of each selection and sent the others on to Oregon to become a permanent part of the collection. The rhododendron collection was first housed on Milton Walker's property at Pleasant Hill near Eugene, Oregon. The first plants were sent there in October of 1968. 3 years later, the collection was moved to the property of P.H. Jock Bryden near Salem, Oregon. By the fall of 73, it had become apparent that the collection was becoming too large for the Bryden property, and a committee met with George Weisenhauser. Oh my gosh, who was immediately and enthusiastically receptive to the idea of providing space on the new Weisenhauser corporate campus in Federal Way. No cost. Okay, so they leased at no cost a permanent site of 24 acres for the collection. The following year, the collection was relocated from Salem to the Federal Way and planted in accordance with the geographic origin of each species. So, what was going on with that Pierce guy? Because we never heard anything about that Pierce guy. He supposedly was one of the founders and had 4 acres. So, is everything we just wrote earlier today wrong? Maybe so. It might just be. There's more, so I'll look at that. Let's deal with one piece at a time. All right. Where was I at? No, I'm getting rid of that. Bye. Let's go to what we were editing. I've almost forgot what I was doing. Oh, when it was created. That's what we were doing. 64. I guess that's when the origins of the group were. So 68. The first plants were sent there in 1968. 3 years later, the collection was moved to all right, people. So would you say that the beginning of the rhododendron species botanical garden was 1964 when this guy went to Britain and arranged to have all the seeds sent to Vancouver, British Columbia, and then they grew them there for 2 years and then shipped, then he was able to get them and started planting them? Would be the beginning of the park? 1964? Or would the initial beginning of the park be 1968? Because that's when the first plants were sent, but they went to Eugene, Oregon. The collection was moved 3 years later. And then by 73, they moved it again. And then in 74, they moved it to the place in Federal Way that you find it now. So the park as it exists now in Federal Way, Washington is 1974. So if we were to say when was, but it wasn't even opened until the 1980s for the public. So if somebody was to say, what's the founding date of Disneyland? Would you say the day they opened the doors? Or would you say the day that they bought the land? Or the day that they started drawing up the plans and then looked for a place to put it? When is the origin? When is the date? Let's look and see what, let's just take a look and see what it says for Disneyland for the founding day. It says opened in 1955. Okay, well, that doesn't help. It's an open day. I'm going to put 1974 and then write this in the history. Okay, operator is, who owns it? Who's operating it? Is it the, yeah, the Rhododendron Species Foundation, because it's a nonprofit organization. It was founded and incorporated in 1964. So that is the operator. But I don't think there is a Wikipedia page for that. So I'm going to remove these because I am writing the Wikipedia page right now. Designation, what would that be? Nonprofit, I guess. Oops. So you guys, you see, I am no genius at this. Status, ongoing, open. What would I say the status is? Open. No, Disneyland doesn't have one. This one. Guess the date was formed. But remember, this is a business. Well, I don't have to fill out every one of these little lines, but I just don't know what I'd put in there for status. It would be current or ongoing or something. Visitation numbers. Do we have visitation numbers not COVID related? Let's see. No, maybe something will come up in one of the articles that I have. And I don't, nearest city would be Federal Way, but we already know that. Coordinates, we'll have to deal with that later. Image size. Okay, am I forgetting anything here? So let's see what it looks like so far. I guess we got an error with the map. It's green. That's really weird looking. That's what was on the other one, and this needs to go. So I guess with this info box park, it always makes that green thing at the top. So let's try taking this word Washington out and see if that gets rid of the error. If not, then maybe this other thing is the problem. Let's find out what the problem is here. Okay, it seemed to clear that up. So you can see what's 22 hectares? What the hell is that? Well, I guess that's Britain. Well, we don't want that. I don't know what the heck that is. Just take this out. It's a mathematical thing in there. Is it 22 acres? Let's see, was it 22? Yeah, 22 acres. Okay. What was the other thing I was going to look at? Let's do it. Entrance to Park 2021. Let's put down, I think it's important to put the month because it shows what it looks like in the month. So in the caption, let's put like this. May 2021. Let's see how that looks. Now, you can see I can change all this as much as I feel like it. Show preview. Entrance to Park, May 2021. Because it shows you that in May, that's what you would expect, this purple and stuff like that. Okay, this has still got to go. Let's make that go away. I guess you've noticed that this is the page as it looks, the preview. See how it's previewed. And then if I scroll down further, this box has a little slider on the sides is the edit box. See how it goes up and down. Here's a bunch of tools up here that I use from time to time. Okay, so this is that picture that's been appearing that somebody had put in there before. I'm removing it. And yes, I am removing it. So let's add an info box and let's publish that. Some people might say that, who do you think you are, Miss Susan Gerbic, that you can just go in and remove pictures and add and make decisions about what your company was opened and or whatever and what you're going to call things and what you're going to say. How dare you do that? Well, yeah, you're absolutely right. That's part of being a Wikipedia editor. Once this is live and it's available, I mean, it's on my sandbox, so it's not really live. Once it's live, then anybody can go in and change it. They can say, I don't like that photo. They could change it out and put another photo in. They don't like the way I worded something, they could change it. And I can change it back, or I can just leave it, or, you know, usually most people are making improvements to the page. So it is what it is because that's what I'm putting in here. And if somebody wants to change it, that's fine. But almost nobody's edited this Wikipedia page in years, you can tell. So we have started out with a rhododendron info box. We can fill in the other spaces if we want. Here's the lead. It is on 22 acres of nonprofit botanical garden specializing in rhododendrons located at this address. Okay, so let's expand on this history. Oh gosh. It started the rhododendron garden with 4 acres. Now, what the heck does that mean? Because according to the history of this, he didn't do that. Well, let's look and see. Maybe there's something more, because his name's not mentioned in here anywhere. Growth of the foundation. Okay, so they started growing. They started a membership program in 76. They distributed plants to members and the profits helping to support the garden. Finally, they opened the garden to the public on a limited basis in 1980, established a coordinated volunteer program, and completed a garden master plan that proposed replanting the collection in the garden to reflect taxonomic groups. Oh, those species that are most closely related are planted near one another. This replanting was completed in 1984. They hired Ken Gambrill in 1974 to be the first curator, but he resigned to start his own nursery and consulting business in 84. Then they hired Richard something, and then he was there till 91. From this date until 1998, the various presidents of the board acted as de facto executive directors. Finally, in 1998, the garden manager took on the role of co-executive director with Steve Hootman. Now, that's the guy we've heard a lot about, who was in the curator. Each of the two retained their former positions as well as serving as co-directors. A lot of men. As membership grew and leadership developed, came the need for more permanent funding to increase and improve the facilities. In the late 1990s, a major fundraising drive to increase the endowment was taken with a $400,000 matching grant put forward by longtime board member Robert Franz. With his full support of the board of membership, this amount was matched and even exceeded. The substantial addition to the endowment greatly increased the available funding for operations. Okay, still don't see the name of this guy being mentioned. Growth and expansion. Okay, so there's a bunch of grant writing done, electrical work done. The volunteer staff brought in $10,000, saved $10,000. Victorian stumpery, large stumps be planted mainly with ferns and rhododendrons. Education is very important. They organized an international rhododendron species symposium held in Tacoma in 95. Horticultural students with practiced hands-on experience. That's nice. A student intern program was inaugurated in 86. They have a yearbook. The first issue of the yearbook appeared in 2006. Steve Hootman, remember we mentioned him too, was received with considerable enthusiasm. Okay, increased funding. Grants. Somebody died and they got $235,000. Okay, 50th anniversary as an organization. We see the many exciting things. I haven't seen this guy Pierce mentioned once. And he's supposed to be one of the founders. Let's look. Nope. Pierce, right? He's not mentioned in here anywhere. Pierce. Well, what the heck does this mean? His obituary in the Washington Post says that he started the garden with 4 acres or something similar to that, and then it was eventually grew to over 100,000 varieties, and that their son managed it after his death in 2004. He even received a gold medal from the society. And this garden, this botanical garden in Edinburgh, named plants after him and his wife. So where is this guy, Lawrence Pierce, or his wife, in this history of the organization? I don't know. Okay, so how do we do this? Because we have conflicting information here. Let's take a look at that citation again. Obituaries, Washington Post. You can look with me. You're right here with me. Okay, he was in Seattle, which is very close to this place. See, it says right here, they include, okay, the family's holding included a West Seattle homestead where the couple started a rhododendron garden on 4 acres, nearly 4 acres. The garden, now tended by their son, has more than 1,000 varieties of rhododendrons and has drawn gardening enthusiasts from around the world. So this must be his own personal garden. It must not be the Rhododendron Species Foundation and Botanical Garden. So he was a founding member, but he did not start a garden. See how that's worded kind of like, So that's how things are done. We've got to fix this. Back. Show. Let's go up to the edit screen. One of the founding members of the society, Lawrence Pierce, and his wife, Isabel Coleman Pierce, received a gold medal from the American Rhododendron Society. The Royal Botanical Garden of Edinburgh named a rhododendron species for him. The Edinburgh Society named a rhododendron hybrid after her. Okay, so that's just talking about him and his wife as one of the founding members of the society. So we done good. Okay, so getting back to the history. Now I have to write this in my own words. We do know that this is going to go, because that's wrong now. So going back to the history. I'm going to put this on another screen, you guys. Sorry. So I'll be able to read it from there. Okay, was it founded in 1964 by members of the Rhododendron Society to develop a comprehensive collection of the rhododendron species? Milton Walker, Dr. Milton Walker. Let's find out if Dr. Milton Walker is notable. In other words, does he have a Wikipedia page? And they would never have doctor in there. Maybe he's a famous botanist. I don't know. Nope. Okay, so he's not notable. So March of 1964. All right, so was the Rhododendron Society already existed when this guy went to England, or did he go to England and then start this up and then they start the Rhododendron? Okay, they're not really clear, but it makes it sound like the real origin of this foundation may be said to lie in a visit to England by Dr. Milton Walker in the March of 1964. His goal was to get cuttings and seeds from some of the more from the rhododendron species growing in public and private British gardens. And then he had problems bringing the cuttings in. So the organization was founded in 1964 by members of the Rhododendron Society. How about if I say the organization was founded in 1964 by members of the American Rhododendron Society after a visit to England by Dr. Milton Walker. The purpose of his visit was to explore the possibility of importing cuttings, many from the original wild plants, of the best forms of rhododendron species growing in both public and private British gardens. Okay. After a visit to British Gardens by Dr. Milton Walker, who was interested in importing cuttings from best rhododendron plants, imported cuttings from the best rhododendron plants in the wild and public and private gardens. Okay, let's see how this says. The organization was founded in 1964 by members of the American Rhododendron Society after a visit to British Gardens. After a visit to Britain. Spelled wrong. By Dr. Milton Walker, who was interested in importing cuttings from the best rhododendron plants in the wild and public and private gardens. I've got too many ends. In the wild as well. See, you guys, there's a lot of just writing. And then somebody comes in and changes it, which is fine with me because I'm not the greatest writer. Okay, here's another point. Wikipedia editors never put doctor or PhD in front of a name or anything like that. It's kind of like the argument from authority, because by putting the word doctor in there, you're saying this person's better than anybody else and their opinion's better than everybody else's. In this case, we leave it in because Milton Walker does not have a Wikipedia page. So you wouldn't know that Milton Walker was a doctor unless I write the word DR period in front of his name, because there's no way of knowing it. So if Dr. Milton Walker had a Wikipedia page and we hyperlink to it, then I would remove the word doctor and it would just say, it would have bracket, bracket, Milton Walker, close bracket, close bracket. So we're going to leave it in for now because we have that's his title and you can't hyperlink to it. All right, so we know that. The problem next was that he couldn't import them because Milton Walker, now we call him Walker from now on, learned that he could not directly import cuttings from, because of why? Because of laws? Because of what? Due to American import regulations. Due to American regulations. But he could import them through Canada. He learned, already said. Canada had looser Okay, so this is the University of British Columbia. So what happened was that, should I say looser rules? Because is that inferring that there's something wrong with, is that opinion? Canada had looser rules. Canada allowed Walker asked Vancouver Island in British Columbia to propagate okay, I gotta put the university to propagate for 2 years to propagate the cuttings. Period. The University of British Columbia can its involvement in 1964. Oh, we already have that. Began its involvement. That doesn't make sense. The University of British Columbia helped. How do I say this? So it looks like Mary Gregg from this nursery worked with this university to handle the paperwork and shipments and stuff like that. Let's see. So Walker asked the owner of the Rhododendron Gallery asked the owner of the Rhododendron Gallery nursery. What's her name? Mary Gregg. I wonder where to propagate the cuttings. She an arrangement with the University of British Columbia to facilitate the process. How's that sound now? The organization was founded in 1964 by members of the American Rhododendron Society after a visit to Britain by Dr. Milton Walker, who was interested in importing cuttings from the best rhododendron plants in the wild, as well as the public and private gardens. It sounds like a run-on sentence. Here we go. Let's do this. Period. Walker. Let's get rid of the word Walker. Let's put he. Cuttings. Due to American regulations, Canada allowed imports from Europe. Okay, he learned that he could not directly import cuttings from Europe due to American regulations. Canada allowed imports from Europe. Let's change that sentence. Everybody who's watching this, all thousands of you watching this right now are screaming at the camera going, say it like this. Why don't you write it like that? Okay, he learned that he could not directly import cuttings from Europe due to American regulations. Though Canada allowed imports from Europe. But Canada allowed imports from Europe. He learned, no, I don't want to have he learned too many times. He learned that he could not directly import cuttings from Europe due to American regulations, but Canada allowed imports from Europe. I'm gonna leave it as 2. Let's see what happens. Walker asked the owner of the Ronston Nursery, Mary Gregg, on Vancouver Island in British Columbia to propagate the cuttings. She worked out an arrangement with the University of British Columbia to facilitate the process. Right. I'm really taking this big narrative of the history they have here and putting it down to just the basics, you know, a couple sentences. Okay, so she grew the plants for 2 years with a shared agreement. She kept one plant for each selection at the university and sent the others on to Oregon. And this is now another woman, somebody named Evelyn Jack. All right, so I could say that. I could say Evelyn. She sent them to Oregon, not shipped. So I don't know if that means somebody drove it to there. Sent other to Oregon. For the American Rhododendron Society. So how should I call that? Okay. She worked out an agreement with the University of British Columbia to facilitate the process. Evelyn Jack, working with the university, grew the plants for 2 years and by agreement kept one plant for the university and sent the other to Oregon for the society. Okay, next. The society. (1968). No, the first were sent there. It says 3 years, 68, 69, 77, 1971. Okay, the first plants were sent there in 19 till 3 years later. The collection was moved to the property. Sent there in October 1960. 3 years later, the collection was moved to the property of a board member near Salem. I don't know if I should capitalize the word board. Where was it written that it was something that was already here? Oh, there it is, Weysenhauser Company. Okay, because that's what it says over here, Weysenhauser Corporate. Okay, there we go. Let's move this out. Move this out. Let's say instead of in, oops. Let's say by. There we go. That looks really good. Making the spaces in between so we can see what we got. So again, I've condensed all this, leased at no cost to a permanent site of 24 acres. So it's 24 acres. And they leased it at no cost. So let's put that over here. It's 24 acres. This is according to their website, so it's probably a little more accurate. Okay. They make a big deal out of this. Well, you know, it's mentioned in several places that they relocated the plants and put them in geographical, you know, all the plants that are like from certain regions of the world are with other plants of that region, kind of. So I gotta figure out how to say that. They started a membership program in they established a coordinated 1976. Developed, a membership program was developed. Okay, so here's how they say it, sort of like this. A membership program was developed. Developed, did they say developed? I don't want to say the same words they use. Replanted. I can't imagine all this replanting. This is crazy. I saw these plants, they're massive. Was replanted. They call it taxonomic groups. Those species that are most closely related are planted near one another. Gardeners who planted to group species, how about I say, related to each other. Remember, this is not my field. Here. And then let's put in 1980, the garden was open to the public. So it's a history section, so we're kind of getting this, you know. The membership program is developed and a volunteer program. No, I can't say membership and volunteer. Were developed. The garden was replanted to group species related to each other. God, that's cumbersome. Most closely related to each other. That's better. Okay. So then the website goes on about funding. I don't think I need to put any of that in there. And I think let's take this out. Let's put this in the lead. That's better in the lead because it shouldn't have anything to do with the history. I'm reading this. Sorry, you guys. It's not exciting. I'm really not supposed to take a lot off of websites. I am finding this a lot more interesting than I would have thought. Okay. I think I'm done with the history area. So let's cite this. So we're going to go down to here. Remember, we're putting it all in here under this reference area. Come on now, let's get some more spaces going so it looks better. Template site web. There's no last or first name. The title is A Brief History. Here's the URL. Website name is RHODYGARDEN.org. Publisher is RST. Today is accessed. Let's archive this. And the archive link will go right there. I'm not going to close this history tab because I might be using this again. Remember, I'm not writing like a paper for some mass paper. This is a Wikipedia page where I'm just trying to get it to be something that people can read. And if they find it really interesting, they can follow these links and get to something a little bit more, you know, of their interest. They could follow the links and read more about it if they wanted to. It's not my job to make it so that it is one. I say, oops, I put it in the wrong place. It's not my job to tell the entire story. It's supposed to sum up, you know, a good Wikipedia page sums it up. Okay, so this citation is at the bottom of this 3 small paragraphs. I could make it all one paragraph if I want, but I think it's going to look better like this. We'll see what it looks like in a minute. Okay, preview. Here's the longer lead now. And that's what the history looks like with one citation. Because I have it right here, it means that these are all connected. Okay. So we have 3 citations. We had none before. And these are the, I know I'm done when I've gotten these done. So let's make this live. Okay. So let's go through these other citations and see what I got. Oops, wrong. To edit it. All right. Is that already? Let's find the one that's next oldest. (2018). 2019. Okay, this is from 2019. This article is from 2015. Okay, so let's go to this. Let me show you what it is. So rhododendron explorers from South Sound safe following a landslide in India. So this is a little bit of an odd thing. It doesn't really have a lot to do with the actual garden so much as that it's saying that they travel all over the world looking for rhododendrons that are in the wild and some places where they would have landslides. So this article is going to be zoomed down to maybe a sentence because we want to have not too much in the article, but we want to have some content for some people to read too. And when I read this, I thought, wow, they go traveling into the Himalayas to look for seed or wild rhododendrons. That's pretty darn cool. So this is in 2015. They discovered a new species, and the tour was sponsored by the group and headed by Steve Hootman. Okay, and so they said they had to go down some footpath by the government and the local police and the army. And they're safe. They got back and it blocked 3 switchbacks on the main road. And They reached 14,000 feet in elevation, recorded about 20 different species of rhododendron in the area, including newly discovered species. So, in a nutshell, if you were explaining this article to somebody, it is that this group that I'm writing a Wikipedia page about organized or funded a bunch of people to go, enthusiasts, rhododendron enthusiasts, to go to the Himalayan mountains to find and look for, identify, discover, whatever, more rhododendron species. While they were there, there was a landslide and they had to be rerouted, and it took them 2 full days of exploration to get back. That's basically it, right? And that they found a new species. So let me put this over here on my other thing here. So that's not going to go under history. It's not going to go under exhibits. It's not going to go under people. Where would that go? Where would I put that? Well, I know there's something that I'm going to be writing later, and it's that this society brings in people to train, like they train a lot of people who become botanists and to learn how to manage a garden and stuff like that. So they do a lot of education, a lot of they take it very seriously, trying to develop the next generation of people to do love rhododendrons, be interested in botany. One of the things they found on their website was they have a photography challenge for people in high school or college to send in pictures of rhododendrons and leaves or whatever. They have different themes all the time, and there's a cash prize. And that's to get an interest of young people into rhododendrons. So there's a lot of outreach, that's the word, outreach, that they do. Outreach and education. Outreach and education. Is outreach and education the same thing? Education and outreach? Are they two different things? They do a lot of meetups where they have people come in and do talks, or they go places and they give talks. So that's outreach and education. So I guess that's the same thing. So what would it be called when you send a group to the Himalayas? That's not outreach. That's not education. That is not exploration. Research and education, research and outreach and research. You see how this works, you guys? The lone editor is just sitting there trying to think it through, talking to their cat usually. I don't have any cats. I think there's one on the ground over here, but I can't see her. Hamilton left me all by myself. So it's just you and me. And I can't see you saying anything, and I'm not looking at my YouTube video. Send me a private message really quick so it appears somewhere on my screen, on my phone. Research and education. Let's make this section called Research and Education. Should go before people? I think so. So, equal signs, research and education, education and research. Spell right. And as I was telling you before, we never capitalize the second word or any of the other words in the little category start, unless it is a proper noun or something. Okay, so research and education. In 2015, our, what are we calling this group? I had to hear somewhere else. 3 letters, right? R S T R S. Well, where do we get the T from? What is RST? Where did I get that from? Does anybody remember? RSP, RSF. RSF. Gotta change it in both these places, otherwise it won't work. Okay, RSF sponsored. Sponsored? What are they sponsored? Sponsored, yeah. Sponsored and led by, now he's executive director now, so let's see. Sponsored tour of India. Was it all over India, or was it China and India? India. Led by see, now I've got him down here. Let's take this out. RSBG. Let's make up our mind what we're calling these things. RSBG. 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 I guess I should stick with the same. Let's change this over here. Where do we have it? Do you remember? RSBG. And then we have to change it up here. I'm telling you, if you have one capital letter or lowercase letter or an extra comma or something like that on one of these call things, you will have an error and it takes you forever to find it. Okay. So in 2015, an RSBG sponsored tour of India, led by Executive Director and Curator Steve Hootman. We're trapped. We're trapped. We're delayed. Trapped, delayed, stranded. Oh, they say stranded. HIMALAYAN. They were what was it they did? Wow. I think they had 20 plants. I don't know. What's it they did? Oh, wow. I don't want to say adventure. That sounds on. On the XPEDITION, I will make this a quote. Quote, just don't do a lot. Okay, so in 2015, RSBG sponsored tour of India, led by executive director and curator Steve Hootman, were trapped for 2 days by a Himalayan landslide. They were able to escape by footpath led by the local police and military. While on the expedition, they recorded about 20 different varieties of rhododendron in the area, including a newly discovered species. Bingo! Site web. This article was written by Craig Saylor. And the title is this. And the URL is this. The website name is the news.com. The publisher is the News Tribune. The access date is today. Let's call this one Landslide. And let's archive this link if I haven't already. Nope, I haven't already. Since I'm recording it, archiving it today. Archiving is one of these things that we've learned to do in GSoW a lot. It's part of our training that we put together, because what happens is, you know, when you're reading a Wikipedia page or even an old website and you try to click on the links and then you find out the links are all broken. It's such a pain. So we use the Wayback Machine as an archive. So you can see it on my desktop. There's a little, it looks like a little trash can, but it's not a trash can. Somebody said it's actually like pillars, like Rome pillars from Rome, Greek or whatever. I think it looks like a little trash can. But we click that button and it archives the link into something called the Wayback Machine. Oops. And that link is something that we should be able to access even if the website goes defunct or something. I did it again. Will I ever learn that? Oops. Come on. Look at this weird. See how my mouse is? Can't get it to go. Okay, so it goes down here to the section of links, just right here. And we called it Landslide. So with a capital L. Here. So it's crinkle C, capital R, bar, LANDSLIDE, crinkle. Okay, let's look and make sure I did this right, because you want to constantly do show preview, because if you wait until you're all you've done a ton of writing on here, and then you preview, then you won't necessarily find the error so easily. But when you just, have a little bit in front of you. Okay, so here it is, research, citation number 2, Craig Saylor, Rhododendron, the Niche Tribune, archive link. So there's an archive link. So I could click on this. I think this would give me the archive. Would this give me the archive? This is the archive right here. So if I clicked on that, it'd give me the archive link. If I click on this, then that'll get me to the website as it's original. So up to 4, count them 4. But we're going to move these a lot faster now. Watch. Now that we're starting to find our feet. So we're looking for we're looking for the website for the News Tribune. It looks like the News Tribune. It's this one. Okay, so that's gone. Gone. Don't have to deal with that anymore. I'm going to close it on my browser over here. Done. Go away. All right. Let's pick another one. So what's another old one we have? This one is from 2020. This one is from 19. This one is from 2010. Okay, this is about an exhibit. So here's what I'm going to show you. Federal Way Mirror, world-class rhododendron gardens, new conservatory goes tropical. So this is going to talk about the conservatory. Perfect, because the paragraph's already written. It just needs to have a citation. This is the first public conservatory built on the West Coast in recent history. Well, recent history. What does that mean? It'd be different if it was the first since 1960 or something, but recent history doesn't mean anything. I mean, that's not something you would really cite. Okay, we know the assistant director is this person's name. It's going to hold this tropical strain of rhododendron. It's a world-class collection, but the person saying it is the person who's a director, so they have a bias there, so I can't quote that. 20 years ago, they wanted to do this, but they had to find the money. The conservatory is named for the late Francis C. Rutherford, who was very active at the garden. So that is probably something I would need. It's another fact is that it's a 5,000 square foot conservatory with a rock sculpture, a fountain. There's several hundred species of plants inside. Again, more of opinion by this person who's got an agenda. There are 550 species of rhododendrons at the garden from all over the world. I thought they'd said it was like 1,000. Here's the ticket prices. Of course, I don't need any of that. So what we want to get out of this is that this is a new, they opened up this conservatory, who it's named for, how big it is, and there will be several hundred species of plants inside the conservatory. That's kind of what I'm looking for. So let's move this citation over again so I can read it as I go. And let's see what's here already. Okay, they opened the 5,000 square foot Rutherford Conservatory, a climate controlled greenhouse open to the public, displays a collection of tropical rhododendrons known as vireas. Now, I wonder if that has a hyperlink, because I don't know what it is. So we'll see. I tell you, I think this Wikipedia page had been written by the foundation, because just the way it's talking about where these plants are from and how they would go extinct and all that stuff. That's sounds like it's written by a botanist or somebody with an agenda to promote the place. Okay, I want to take out the word new, because it is not new in 2010, and new means what? So we got to get those words out of there. The biologist for universe environment that is taking place in the far distance to the. Okay, that just sounds like propaganda. You know, it's agenda. Here's our agenda. So take that out. Unless I'm quoting somebody, that doesn't make sense. So we want to, okay, so we have it's a 5,000 square foot. So we want to write down that it was named for this volunteer. The conservatory is named for how do I say this? Because I don't want to take the words directly from the other. Name for volunteer, spelled incorrectly. Or I should say RSBG volunteer. Should I say the late or the dead? For I don't want to make it sound like he's alive. His name for, I'll see it here. FRANCISC. We also, in Wikipedia, we don't use words like passing over or anything like that. It's never used. Okay, we know it's 5,000 square feet. There will be several hundred plants inside the conservatory. Okay, it's several hundred. Yeah, we never use any words like that, emotional words like that. They died. Really factual, you know how us Wikipedia editors are. All right, so I'm going to cite this one. Here we go. See how this works. Remember, I'm going to go down here. This is very easy because the sentence was mainly written for us already. Everything's already written. Okay, it's written by somebody whose name is Lo, and their first name is Kira. And the URL is this. And the name of the article is this. It's archived today. And oops, wrong. And the website name is federalmirror.com. Federal Way Mirror. And the publisher is okay. Let's archive that. What do we want to call this? Let's call it Rutherford. I could put Rutherford Conservatory. I could write anything in here. I could write Donald Duck. I could put numbers. Whatever I want to have in there can be in there. Thanks for bearing with me, guys. It's nice to feel like there's somebody watching. Whether you're watching or not, it feels good that somebody's watching me edit. It makes me want to finish and get this done. It's 11:40 here in California. So last night I finished a Tasmanian Devil page at 2 in the morning. Okay, so I'm calling this the Rutherford Conservatory. So let's go back up here to exhibits, and that's where it's going to go. Crinkle, crinkle, capital R, bar, what we called it, crinkle, crinkle, closed. Okay. And let's preview. Make sure we did it right. All right, and does that word, where was that? Varials. Yep, let's see, links to something. Citation 2. It's not working. Why is it not working? Did something wrong. This is why I say you save often so that you can see where your problem is and stare at that for a while. Here it is. See this little, see the little dots right there? See the little quote marks in there? They're not supposed to be there. Because I copied and pasted, and I copied it with the little quote marks in there. Always go back and look. Up, see, there it is. Isn't that pretty? Okay, so we're up to 5 citations now. Let's save. Go. Let's take this federal mirror thing out of our list of things to do. Gone. Let's put these up so we can see what we're doing. And I'm going to close this. Gone. Okay. So now we have 5 done, and we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to go. So I know it seems like a lot, but I think we could do this fairly quick because we've gotten the last 2 done really quickly. Okay, here's something from 2015. Adventures in Plant Science. Researchers take to the road to investigate physiological diversity among rhododendron species to find out why the Northwest coast is a mecca for enthusiasts. Okay, so I read this over. I think we'll kind of browse through it. And it's about these 2 women who are botanists who go to the garden and they take a lot of cuttings and they're trying to figure out, and they even dig out roots and stuff like that. And they meet with our Steve guy. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to discover why is it that rhododendrons grow so well in the Pacific Northwest. Could have something to do with there's a lot of rain. Could have a lot to do with a lot of things, but let's see. So I think this would go into the research and education area, but this is a long article, lots of nice photographs. And again, there's Steve there. Hi, Steve. We want to sum this up into a sentence or 2. So you don't want to read it right now, I don't think, but you see how long this goes? Beautiful place. Oh, that's a nice jacket. I like her jacket. Long, long article. Summing it up, it's no wonder that rhododendrons boast some of the most enthusiastic fans in the world of plants, not just a typical inhabitant in your grandmother's garden, but a wealth of physiological and habitat diversity can turn practically anyone into enthusiast. So they're just gathering and cataloging what they found, and I think it's going to take years for them to do the investigation of what it is they're going to do. And so this is only about how they went and they grabbed all the species and things like that. And then they went to a conference afterwards. So they were there for a week collecting samples, and it'll take us over a year to process them in the lab. Well, it's 2015. So we should know by now. And they're in Ohio. Okay, so that's a fact. I mean, if we were writing a Wikipedia page about rhododendrons or about roots or something like that, then this article could be used in that way, but that's not what our article is about. Our article is about the actual botanical garden. Okay, they're pulling up roots, classifying wood. Here's some information about Steve. He's been from China to India and back again. He's personally collected seeds or cuttings from many of the 600 plus rhododendron species found growing there. He has a blog. We don't link to blogs. He knows it like the back of his hand. I mean, we could put a link in there to his blog under external links. How exciting to be scientists of this sort, you know, to have a niche, the rhododendron, you know, this would have been so exciting for me if I had thought of something like this, if I had done something like this with my life. I think it would be exciting. I love plants. I think they're great, but I mean, other than basic gardening, I don't know much about them. Okay, so they're in a cold climate of northeast Ohio, and they can only grow a small fraction of rhododendrons. So these two women came from the university they're at, Holden, and they're visiting the northwest coast of the United States, and they found out why it's known as the Mecca for rhododendron enthusiasts. And they're talking about the high level of morphological diversity of the leaves. And it was going to be a wonderful trip. Okay. I also could point out here, we can't take these photographs and use them in the Wikipedia page. All photographs that are used in a Wikipedia page must be uploaded by the person who owns the photograph. So the photographer or the owner of the photograph, and they have to be put through licensing. And if you watch the first video I did on this, you see I had to upload a picture I took. So it's really important that we get our photos. So when you're out visiting somewhere, you have photographs in your computer, whatever, to upload them, we would really appreciate it. Okay, so this happened in 2015, right? I could do this. I could do it. Researching it. Okay, so here's they went to India, and how do I say this in about a sentence and a half? Scientists from the university, from Holden University, is there a place called Holden University? In Ohio? New, so I must have read that wrong. So where is this Holden Arboretum? Is that a thing? Please tell me they have a Wikipedia page. Make it so much easier. There it is. They have an info box too. We're going to make a nicer Wikipedia page than this one has, because this one's almost a stub too. All right, so scientists from the Holden Arboretum in Kirkland, Ohio. Okay, let's say it just like that. Scientists from Holden Arboretum in someplace in Ohio. Where was it? What is that? Kirkland? Kirtland. RSVG 2015 to take samples. Answer the question. To answer questions. Answer the question or answer questions. Answer questions. How about this? Answer questions about, answer question. Oh, to investigate if she has a Wikipedia page. That was helpful. Nope, she does not. Okay. I will not be writing it in the next few minutes. Okay, this is about her. It's about the Arboretum in Holden. They spent a week, or is that part about them spending a week? week. But will take them over a year to process. Should I put her name? I don't think I need it. They spent a week. Wood seeds. Scientists from Holden, from the Holden Arboretum. Now, from Holden Arboretum in Kirkland, Ohio, visited and we take samples to investigate physiological diversity among rhododendron species. Spent a week collecting roots, leaves, and cuttings, which will take them over a year to analyze. Don't need to have that. Okay, so that entire article has just been summarized into this one or two sentences, right? Oh, the beauty of Wikipedia. There's so much more in the articles. So read the articles. Read the articles. And oh, I was wearing more. I had so many tabs open. Last name. Boy, I don't know how I managed to do this without. Put it. If I want to put doctor in here, like that. Ventures in plant science. Well, that's publisher. That's website name. Publishers, WordPress. Let's put Holden. Search. Archive. Getting there, guys. Very close. when somebody says, how long does it take to write a Wikipedia page? Or rewrite a Wikipedia page? Do you have an answer? However long it took me to do this. Archive URL, archive date, insert. Holden, Holden. Okay, crinkle, crinkle, capital R, bar, Holden, crinkle, crinkle, close. Should preview. Citation 4. Long. It works. Okay. So that means we can get rid of that one. All right. So what do we have left? That. This one I already did. Didn't close it. This one is boston.com. Oh, this is about New Hampshire. I mean, there's some talk about rhododendrons. Okay, I think the reason why I wanted to save this is because it says, and I was about to point to it, is that the Rhododendron Species Foundation, Botanical Gardens and Federal Way features more than 10,000 rhododendrons of many different kinds of species. I think that was the only reason why I wanted this. Let's see if we already have that somewhere else in here. Yeah, it's already there in the lead, but do I have a citation? Nope, I don't have it. So this article is from 2011, as of 2011. I keep putting the initials. I kind of really like to put something else. The garden features has over 10,000, has features, what should I say? Features, okay, the article says features more than 10,000 rhododendrons of many different species. So I don't want to write it just like that. Contains has over 10,000, I'm not going to write it out, different Rhododendrons species. That's it. That's all it was saying. As of 2011, because that's when the article was written. I mean, there could be 50,000 by now. So put that there. Okay, this article is called Mother Nature's Mother's Rhododendron. So you guys can see that if this was wrong, this is the archive. If this was wrong, this website, then it is wrong. And it would have to be, somebody would have to figure it out and correct it. .com. 10. Right, like that. It was written by somebody named Kathy McCormack. McCormack. I'm not going to archive it because this is already archived. So 10,000, nothing's capitalized. Let's go up here. Site web. No, what am I doing? It's crinkle, R, capital R, bar, 10, uncrinkle, crinkle. And then we come down here to here, and we want to take out the Boston one. Boom, and it's done. See, sometimes it's really easy. I close that. Let's see the preview. Yep. Doesn't go in here, right? This is visitation numbers. Yeah, it doesn't have anything more in there. Okay, so now let's take this one. I think we're almost done, actually. This one is called Escape to This Urban Oasis in Federal Way. Okay, here it says 22 acre. So, but the website for the parks is 25, so this is from I don't see a year. Oh, here it is, 2019. Okay, so he's talking about the different kinds of plants. Here they talk to a parent who comes in often. She's talking about the location. Displays more than 700 species from every continent. This So is that where they get 10,000? More than 700 species from every continent where they naturally grow. So I think the only thing we can say that from this article that would add to ours, what we already have, is that there's more than 700 species from every continent where they naturally grow. So I got to reword that. And we could put it right here. And I won't even put it on a separate line. Over 700 over 700 species from every continent are located. Okay, that's not saying a lot, but that's something better than what we had before, remember? No citations. Tell you, you get to the end like this. I'm only doing this because I'm recording. Otherwise, I would just put this on hold and I'd come back to it, later. But when I'm recording like this, I feel like I'm pushed, and that's good because that's the way it's going to get done. Escape. This is written by Holcomb, Holcomb, Kim. The website is kng5.com. And the publisher is KING, all caps, 5 EVENIN, evening. Access. Oop. I didn't archive it. It's easier to just start over again. I'm getting tired. Get out of there. Start making mistakes. This is not what you should be doing whenever you're tired. Okay, so here is the citation URL again. Holcomb. Site name is, it was all caps. This is what I meant to hit, show extra. Archive it. While it's archiving, I'll take that and put that in the archive date. And reference is or let's just say King. So see, it was quicker just do that than trying to figure out how I did it wrong. Starting to do this crinkle, crinkle, capital R, bar, king, uncrinkle, crinkle. Make sure that's right. See, it doesn't have to be perfect because somebody will come in and fix it, and it might be me, or it might be one of my team members. There she is, number 4. So let's take out, oops, I think we're really close to being done. I might be just telling myself that. Okay, so gone, gone. All right, this one is, I think, the last, because this one I ended up deciding not to use. So this is the Federal Way mirror again. Plans to stay rooted in Federal Way. This is from 2019. So the landowners have decided to redo the property, and so Federal Way has been put on the map because it has the largest collection of rhododendron species in the world. So now there's this bonsai garden that's right there, and it's not, I haven't mentioned it anywhere because this is the first time it's really come up. Hmm, 850 different rhododendron species of the, wow. Here's the conservator. Okay, so let's see what we can do with this. I am thinking more and more about getting rid of this people section. This is gone now. Oops, didn't go. I'm telling you. Go. Well, maybe I'll leave those. The future. What do I call this next article? Next one. Future. can't call it the future because that won't make any sense in 10 years because that will be the future. What should I call it? History? It's not history. Expansion? Anniversary? Let's put it under exhibits. So in 2019, what's this? What was it called? Are they bought out? Was sold to Industrial Reality Group. Okay, so it's going to become the Woodbridge Corporate Park. RSBG. And I have a lease. Oh, they're negotiating one. Okay, so they have a Wikipedia page. Oh, we're owned by a bunch of places. Black Press. So I'm going to show you something cool here in a second. So the top is what it really called, but on the other side of this bar is what you want it to be, say when you publish it. Told these are italics. Negotiating. Negotiating a new lease and has no plans. So you're going to be developing this area. That's interesting. Scary. So I think I wanted to put they have the largest rhododendron species in the world. How do I say this? I do this. I'm going to put a quote. Quotes are always fun. Let's do this. Oh, is it one thing? Two. Get it to highlight. Weird. Let's go like this. Okay. See if I can remember how to do this. Let's just go over to Tasmanian Devil because I did it last night. Tasmanian Zoo, I mean. I put that quote. Always forgetting the code. But as I say, you go to one, here it is, two of these. And go to some place where it's done correctly. And then copy it. Author equals. And I think I put another bar. Let me see, is that what I do? I don't put a bar. I just put the quote. So I need to put the citation in there. It's going to be the same citation that goes there. Let's just put it down here. Cite this. Oops. Worried this thing is going to give me a, sorry, you can't use this site because you've gone into the Federal Way mirror too many times. You will have to get a subscription. Like I say, it's a pain. This happened to me last night. I didn't get a subscription. I just went in and looked at the archives. But that is a real thing that might happen. So you have to stay on it. So I try to archive things. The author's last name. It's interesting how these the reporters, it's a different person all the time. I noticed that last night with Tasmania Zoo. It would be the same newspaper, and it would have a different almost every time I had a different reporter. It's almost like they said, go out and do this. Not like the reporter said, I have this beat, that this is my beat. I'm going to look into this every 6 months or something like that. Okay, so I have to put it on the quote. right here. Crinkle, crinkle, capital R, bar, whatever I wrote, crinkle, crinkle. So this is going to have crinkle, crinkle, and then it's going to have a more crinkle, crinkle. See all those? And then I can just copy this, put it right here. All right, let's look and see what we think. I got too many extra crinkles. Sound made right. D1WH author. Author equals even. That's the way it should look, right? Quote bar. Quote bar, yeah. We got two. Oh, we don't need those. That's the problem. Those two extra there. And this one has one less crinkle on this side. Crinkle, crinkle. That's what happens when you copy and paste. You're not paying close attention. So let's see. Info box. Yeah. Quote looks good. Look how nice that looks. Citation 5. This will look fantastic. Okay, so should I leave the quote here or put it under history? No, leave it there. Okay, so let's clean this puppy up and add the photos and be done. Yeah, seriously, I'm that close. Okay, this comes out. Here's the coordinates. How did I get there? What do you think that will do? Didn't do nothing. I don't know how to use that, so I will take that out. I wonder if I should put 22, 24. How about that? So we're getting two different quotes on this. Okay, so let's clean this up. Get these closer together. Let's look at it now. Neater, 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 neater. Get this space here. Bring in the gallery. And to do that, I want it to look like this. So it's gallery. File. I'm going to put this over here so I can look at it. Get rid of this page. Get rid of that. I don't need this anymore. Gallery goes before I think it goes before C also. Then I have to put in this line here. And I have them sitting here somewhere. Search media, that's where I got them. So these are the pictures I've uploaded. Aren't they beautiful? So I can also go to uploads for me. This one I've already used. God, this is probably going to take longer because I've got to pick. Oh, so beautiful. Look at it. Isn't that amazing looking? Look at that. The only reason I wrote this Wikipedia page is so I'd have a place to put these photographs. Oh, I'm looking at this going, oh my God, these are so beautiful. Aren't they? Look at that. I think to write something I do. Look at my other one. Yeah, so if I want to write something, you put a bar and then you put what it is you want to write. Put a caption. Oh, there's no way I'm going to be able to pick. You're going to be freaking kidding me. How about that? see, maybe one more. I want something horizontal. Stay with everything horizontal. Seriously, how do you pick? Well, I'm writing the page. I can decide whatever I want, right? Let's see, maybe let's try one or two more. Are they amazing looking? Just amazing. So these are all my pictures. Okay, fingers crossed. Let's see what it looks like. Oh, look, there's room for a couple more. I don't really want to do anything that's vertical. Wow. What do you know? There's room for a little bit more. Hey, it depends what you mean by room, because if you're looking at a phone or a big computer, it's going to have different kinds of space. Maybe a close-up of a picture. Maybe a close-up of something. Just having to grab something. There's not a bad choice here. And these all reside on Wikipedia, so Wikimedia. So somebody could come in and change them if they wanted to. Okay, finishing. So I'm going to make this live, and then I'm going to give it to my team and let them fix the spelling and stuff like that. I got to fix these categories. I'm going to remove these steps. So here's how you do this. Edit. I'm not going to have a step in there. Take that out. Now I go to the rhododendron. Here's the Wikipedia page. Here's what it looked like when I started, right? Before I started. So I'm going to come in here. Nope, I don't want that. I want the current version. I want to wipe this out. So Control A, delete everything, paste in everything. And then I need to add these categories and make them live again. Because I had deactivated all the categories. What else needs to be taken out? I'm not even going to bother read it right now. Oh, look, it put the coordinates in. So they did it. It did it when it was live. It did it. There's a category. It's not right. I'm missing one. This one. Publish. It's just that easy. That's WordPress is the problem, huh? Wow, what a difference. Come on now, aren't you working? It's 1 a.m. So let's go over to the talk page. On this area, what I'm doing is I'm just writing a response. Probably nobody will read this other than me. That is saying that change the pictures if you want to change them, and anything that I couldn't find. I'm going to make a note. I think that there should be an area showing of the people who have been directors Or and you sign your name by putting 4 tildes. Okay. So, I think I need to take the stub out of here. Is there a stub on this too? No importance. Fine. Or something else I wanted to do. It was this. A list. This is what I want to do. Knew there was a reason why I hadn't closed this. Oh, this is my website. I can see I can delete this now. This is my Wikipedia page. My sandbox. I don't need it anymore. Okay, so I want to find here it is. Rhododendron Species Foundation of Botanical Gardens. See, here it is right there. It's right about there midway. Edit. Let's find it again. And I want to remove this photo, which is that icky old photo that was there. Replacing it with the photo I took of the entryway. It's not working for some reason. What is wrong? Oh, I don't have the word file in front of it. That's what it is. F-I-L-E : See, doesn't it look better? Have the entryway of the place with nice purple. I mean, somebody could just make it a hobby and just go through the state of Washington and go to all these arboreums and rewrite and take pictures of them and rewrite the Wikipedia pages, and that would be a hobby somebody could do, and it'd be a noble hobby. See, it's so much prettier there. And I close that. I close that. My Wikipedia page. This could be all deleted. Delete it all. done. Now I want to go to the page I just wrote. I'm going to add this to my watch list. Why can't I? Look how beautiful that is. What a difference. What an amazing difference. All right, folks. Oh, I don't like this space right here. Let me get rid of that. It's too much there. I'm going to put it on. Yes, I made it, added it to my watch list so I can see if, oh, I still don't like that. Looks like I still got too much space there. So I'm going to give this to my cabal and ask them to go through and fix spelling and whatever they need to do, because they can go through and just do all kinds of like, and then they're done. All right, so that took, it's 1 o'clock in the morning. That took me 4 hours, something like that. And then, like I said, my team's going to come in and clean it up a little bit more and get the grammar fixed and change the spelling and things like that. But so it takes about 4 hours plus some research that I did before I started doing this video, 5 hours to write this Wikipedia page over. Plus all the photographs were already uploaded, and that took me a while to do that and of course I was there. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. I'm really tired. And have a really great evening. And see the very bad lighting with my hair falling out and no makeup on.